here we go. Session 1 of what I'm going to call my quarantine chair yoga series. I hope you've watched the intro video and you've gotten your chair set up in a safe space and making sure you can have room to move your arms so you're not going to be knocking anything around. If you needed to bring the floor up with a blanket or a towel, you've done that so that your knees are in line with your hips. So once you get to your position, you're on the edge of your seat. I want you to go ahead and straighten up that spine. Think about a string being pulled out of the crown of your head, so you grow a little bit taller out of your seat here. Pull that low belly back in towards your spine. Sacrum's tucked, your chin's parallel to the floor, and your shoulders are in line with each other. And then I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to just notice your breath. And see where your breath is stopping right now. Are you breathing into your chest and then exhaling before it gets to your belly? And now I want you to imagine that your belly is a balloon. And on your inhale, I want you to blow that balloon up. And then on your exhale, I want you to push all that air out of your belly. And getting all the air out, you'll feel a little bitty lift in that low belly space. And inhale. And exhale. Let's do that one more time with our mouth closed. Inhale. Blowing up that balloon in your belly. And then exhaling, pulling all that air out of your body until you feel that little lift in that low belly. And this time I want you to inhale, bringing all that air into that belly space. I want you to hold that air in that belly space. Feel that air swirling around. Sip in a little bit more air. And then I want you to open your mouth and exhale through your mouth. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling. Blow that belly up in your balloon and hold that air at the bottom. Feel it swirling around in your belly. Sip in a little bit more air. And then open your mouth and exhale. One more time, inhale. Hold that air in your belly. And open your mouth and exhale. And now close your mouth and seal your lips. You maybe can hear that same ha sound coming out when you exhale through your nose. I want you to take a scan of your body. If this is new to you, it may feel a little awkward and you may be holding on to certain muscles that you don't even know you're holding on to. So taking a scan from the ground up, I want you to feel all 4 corners of your feet, all of your toes on the ground. I want you to take a scan of your legs and see if you're holding on to any tension in those muscles, and breathe into that space and release those muscles. Then moving up through your body, making sure you're sitting up tall. You've got that low belly back towards your spine to protect your low back. And take your attention to your shoulders, making sure we're not shrugged up here or rounded forward. I want you to bring those shoulders back and down, but relax the muscles. And then take your attention to your hands. Maybe press into the tops of your legs with your fingertips. Just finding some awareness that you've got everything relaxed in the seated position before we start moving. And when you're ready, I want you to blink your eyes open. And then go ahead and pick up your hands and start rotating your wrist. And then we reverse the direction. And maybe even make a fist with your hands and then open them up wide. Just stretching out those hand muscles right now. Let's do that one more time. And then go ahead and place your hands back on the tops of your legs here. We're going to move in and out of what they call cat and cow, but I heard something the other day, which I think I love more, which is angry cat and happy cat. So I think we're going to go with that today. If I go back between the two, you'll know why, because I'm just learning the happy cat and angry cat lingo. But the way we do this is we're moving with our breath, and I want you to, on your inhale, you bring your chest up like you're shining it to the sky. And on your exhale, I do want you to round your shoulders forward, drop your chin to your chest, and maybe push back on your legs. And so you just keep working with that. I'm going to move to the side so you can see it from the side angle. So on your inhale, you're lifting your chest up, and your gaze is going up. And on your exhale, you're rounding out that chin to your chest. So keep moving like this. And once you get the movements down, I want you to close your eyes and really feel your spine flexing and rounding, just really massaging all the way down and up your spine. And you can pause on your happy cat and just feel what this is like for your spine. And then you can round it out on your exhale and pause here and just see what that feels like in between your shoulder blades and your upper back. So you move with your breath here. That's why closing your eyes is helpful, because you, especially if you're doing it with people, you can go inward and stay focused on your practice. Wherever you are, moving in and out, I have a couple of more happy cats and angry cats. And then come back and find some stillness. Go ahead and making sure that you're back in proper alignment here. Your knees are hip width distance apart. So let's make sure they're not out further than your hips. And usually if you look down at your feet and take two fists and just eyeball that is about hip width distance apart. So then bring your hands back to your knees here. Let's take one breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And then I want you to take your arms up like a goalpost. And we're going to twist from here, and we're going to move with our breath. So we don't want to go too fast. We don't want to get dizzy. So on your inhale, get really tall, like I'm pulling the string out from the crown of your head. And on your exhale, I want you to twist to the left. And inhale, come back to center. And exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back through center, to the left. Inhaling through center, and back to the right. Let's do that one more time, each side. Inhaling through the center. And back through to the right side. And then come back through center. Bring your hands to heart center, placing the thumbs right there at your heart space. I want you to push that chest into your heart space, making sure not to dip in that low back so your sacrum's still tucked and your low belly space is back towards your spine. We're going to inhale our arms up, so I want you to take your hands down, come through your mid space like you're painting your center body up, and bring the hands up overhead in prayer position. And then exhale, hands heart center. Push your chest into those thumbs. Inhaling, bringing those hands through your midline, up overhead, bringing those hands together at the top, exhaling back down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale your arms up, and exhaling back down. This time we're going to inhale up, and exhale. I want you to bring your head to your chest and just round your back. If you feel like you're able, you can drop your hands down and rest your upper body on your legs. And then roll yourself back up. Arms can come back into position. So inhaling your arms up overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Let them release by your side. If you want to roll down all the way, you can. But if you're not able to do that, you can always keep your hands on your knees and just round your back, dropping your chin to your chest, just like we did in that angry cat pose. So inhaling, moving up. Exhale, hands through heart center. One more time, roll down to your level. And roll back up out of this, bringing your shoulders back in line with each other. Go ahead and shrug those shoulders up to your ears, move them back behind you and drop them down. We're just doing some exaggerated shoulder rolls here. Going forward and up and back. And now I want you to go back and up and then forward. So just reversing your circle. Remembering not to let go of that low belly space, not to let go of that breath. And then come to pause, shake out those arms. I want you to take your right hand and hold on either to your leg or to the chair, the side of the chair. And I want you to inhale that left arm up overhead. If this is uncomfortable for your shoulder, you can always have your hand on your shoulder here. And if it's still not working for you, you can always keep that hand on your hip. We're just going to work through some side stretches. So go to where you're comfortable. Once you get your arm in place, I just want you to make sure that shoulder's not shrugged up next to your ear. It's in line with the other shoulder. You've got a good hold on the chair or your hands resting on your leg. So inhale up, and on your exhale, I just want you to lean towards the right. And so you want to make sure if that arm is up, that our arm isn't going forward. We want your arm over your ear, and you're really stretching those fingertips out like you're trying to grab something. So once you get into the side bend, I want you to take your attention to your left rib cage, and I want you to push it to the left very gently. It's a tiny little movement. We're just deepening that stretch without crunching into that right side. So we don't want to be leaned over like this. I want length on that right side too. So leaning over to the right, once you start to feel that stretch, I want you to push that left rib cage out to the left. And if it feels okay for your neck, you can always take your gaze up, which opens up your heart a little bit more. Take one more breath here. And on your exhale, you can use your hand to push yourself back to a straight position. Drop that left arm down and you can shake your arms out again. So now placing your left hand on the chair or on your leg, You can inhale that right arm up, whatever position, again, feels most comfortable for you. Just inhaling wherever you are, making sure the shoulder is not shrugged up. Bring it back into its pocket. Inhale, get really tall, like I'm pulling that string from your head. And on your exhale, lean to the right. And you'll feel pressure on that left hand, like you're pushing your body, so keeping yourself from falling over. That's good, that's not a bad thing. So once you feel that stretch, I want you to push that right rib cage towards the right side of your room. And again, we're not shortening this left side. We don't want to be over like this. That's going to put some strain on your low back. So that low belly is in, you're leaning to the left, you're pushing that rib cage out. And again, making sure that this top arm, if it's up, is not in front of your face, but back over here by your ear. And if it feels okay, you can take your gaze up to the right. Really noticing on your inhales here, if you can feel your rib cage really opening up on that right side. And on your exhale, feeling it hug back into your body. And then on your next exhale, push into that left hand if you want to help you come back up, dropping that right arm down. And let's just shake it out here. So taking our movement, our focus down to our legs, I want you to sit up really tall here. Really important right here that you pull that low belly back in towards your spine, protecting that low back. We're going to start marching our legs, and you can use your hands for assistance, just bringing that right knee up and then setting it back down on the floor. So we're moving with intention, with our breath. We're not rushing through this. And picking that right leg up, bringing it to your chest and back down. One more time each side. Inhaling up, exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. This time I want you to take your right knee up. I want you to take your hands in front of that knee and hold on to it. And then do little bitty circles. Just getting some movement in that hip joint. And then I want you to reverse your circle. Making sure you're not ducking down like this, going back towards the back. You're going to always have the straight spine here. What's going to help you do that is holding that low belly back in towards your spine and tucking that sacrum forward. And then I want you to find some stillness. From here, we're going to move to a pigeon. This is where you may want the block or books. I'm going to show you where we're going, and then I'm going to show you modifications. So stop anywhere along the way that feels good for you. So I want you to take, if you're able, your right ankle and set it on top of that left thigh. And real easy to kind of shift to one side or the other here. So I really want you to think about sitting up straight and tall and centering through your spine here. This may be enough, and that is fine. If you want to take this a little bit further, you could hinge from your hip space, not rounding over on a straight spine. Hinge from your hip space over until you start to feel the stretch in that right side. If this is not working for you, I want you, if your leg is like this, and it can be because this is such a tight area on so many people, I want you to take your foot back down, and if you've got your block or a stack of books, I want you to take that prop and put it to the inside of that left foot. And then you can take your right foot and come to the edge of that right foot. And so you've got this same idea going on with your leg here that we did up here, but we're just lowering it a little bit so we'll make it more friendly for our tight hips. So if you feel this stretch, stop here. And you can lean forward if you want to go deeper in that stretch, or come back. And if the book or block is still, whoa, this isn't working, you can always move it out of the way, take your right edge of your foot just straight on the ground next to your other foot, and then you can feel it. What I want you to feel is the sensation of the stretch in this outer hip area, and that's going to be different for everybody. If you feel it kind of on the lower edge of the block, you can always come to the side. You can stack another book if you've got books, or if you've got a yoga block, you can take it up one level and then rest that side of your foot on the block as well. So you find your pigeon. It's a seated pigeon. And then we're gonna just get settled into this for a minute. I want you to close your eyes. And when you find your edge of your stretch, I want you to pause. And I want you to take a scan of your body. Seeing what happened to that low belly space or those shoulders. So you rounded over. I want you to pull the shoulders back. Pull that low belly back in towards your spine. And I want you to visualize your breath going into that right hip. And with each inhale and exhale, you'll feel a little bit more release. If you've got the full expression of the pose with your ankle on top of your thigh and you're leaned forward and it feels like, oh, I can go a little bit more, you can always come up onto the ball of that left foot, which will create a little deeper stretch for you. Making sure to keep that neck in line with your spine. We're not dropping our head down. And I have my right hand just resting on my knee. I'm not pushing down, so no pressure on that knee joint. Really paying attention to those deep inhales and exhales. You've still got that balloon in your belly. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then on your next exhale, just go ahead and blink your eyes open if you had them closed and just release that right leg out. You can even straighten it out now, taking that, coming up to the heel of your right foot. And I'm sorry if everything isn't in frame here, but then just roll that hip joint out just from side to side here. Just getting some blood flow back into that space we just stretched. And then bringing that right foot back to rest on the floor or the blanket. Again, taking a check here, making sure your knees are still in line with your hips and your feet are hip width distance apart. So we're going to find the pigeon on our left side now. So wherever you went on the other side, it may be different on this side because we tend to be tighter on one side than we are on another. I know some days it all changes for me too. So wherever you went on the other side, you may want to, you may have to try it out and find the space for this left hip joint. So make your way into your pigeon, your version of your pigeon. I want you to sit up tall, making sure you didn't slump down in the chair here. To sit up tall here, low belly back in towards your spine. I've got the crown, the string coming out of the crown of your head. And then I want you to find your edge of your stretch. And if that, you can lean over, and in any position your foot is in, you can just hinge straight from this hip space, not through the back. Again, we want straight spine. So think about having one straight line from the crown of your head all the way down to that sacrum. So we're hinging from your hips here. And again, I'm just resting my hand on my leg. I'm not pushing down. I'm keeping a pretty good flex in that left foot. And then go ahead and just close your eyes. Taking your attention to your breath. The breath is breathe into that left hip. And feel how that breath helps release the tightness in that space. And again, if you're in the full expression and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can come up to the ball of that right foot. Take a scan of your body here, because when we get in stretches that tend to have some good yoga pain, we don't want any sharp pains. It's just a little intense stretch feeling. We tend to hold on with other muscles to help alleviate some of that. And if you're feeling any type of sharp pain at all, I want you to back off of wherever you are. Making sure you're still pulling that low belly back towards your spine. I want you to take one more breath here. And on your next exhale, just slowly come out of this, blinking your eyes open. Taking that foot off of your leg if it's there, stretching that foot out in front of you, flexing the left foot, and just waving your foot from side to side, getting some blood back into that left side that we just stretched. And then we're just going to bring that left foot back here on the floor. We're going to do a little bit of a modified twist here. So I want you to take your forearm, your right forearm, and come forward onto your top of your legs. If for some reason this isn't working for you, you may want to grab another blanket so you can bring your forearm up closer to you, and that's fine too. There's always a modification. If there's anything we're doing today that I haven't given you a modification for, you're always welcome to reach out to me. So we're going to lean forward here, and again, we're not rounding forward. We're hinging from our hip space straight forward. And I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this. So I'm not going like this. I'm going like this. And I hope that is even you can even see that in the video. So hinging from your hip space, forearm on top of your legs here. Take your left hand to your left hip, and then I want you to look to the left, and maybe your chest starts to go with your head here. So we're in this little bitty twist. You're pushing into your legs or the blanket with that forearm. So it's kind of anchoring down that right side, and your gaze is going forward. You'll start to feel this twist in that low back and up through your shoulders if you're pushing down with that right forearm. If this feels okay for you and you're okay with your shoulder, you can bring that left arm in front of your face and up and reach that hand towards the sky here. If all the way up isn't working for you, you can bring your left hand to your left shoulder or just keep it by your side. And you're just making sure on that inhale, you'll feel everything expanding in this twist. And on your exhale, you should feel that you could go a little bit deeper in that twist. And on your next exhale, if your arm is up, I want you to sweep it in front of your face. And then you can just walk yourself back up to the seated position. And just go ahead and shake out that right side, shake out your left side. Take that left forearm now and place it on top of your thighs or the blanket. Take your right arm to your right hip, and then take your gaze over to the right, and maybe your chest goes with it. Making sure you're not rounded through this. The straight spine again applies even in the twist. And then you want to take your arm to whatever expression feels good. If you're going up, I want you to sweep that right arm in front of your face and then reach it straight up to the sky. Again, you're pressing into the legs or blanket with that left arm, so you'll feel work in that left arm as well. And on your next exhale, if your arm is up, I want you to sweep it around in front of your face, and then go ahead and work yourself back up into that seated position, shaking out those arms. So we're gonna do one last bigger pose here. I want you to take your legs out. So your toes are gonna be angled in line with your knees. So don't keep them straight forward. Wherever your knees are pointing, I want your toes to be pointing in any pose we do. If you have the blanket underneath your feet because of the chair height, I want you to now take that blanket up underneath your right foot, because we're gonna work our right side first. And sit up really tall here. It's really important right now, because we've opened these legs up, that we're not dipping into that low back. Our belly's not going forward. I want you to pull that low belly in and the sacrum towards the spine here. So we're sitting up good and tall. And then we're gonna go to a modified triangle pose. And there's a couple of ways we can do it. You can take your right hand and leave it on top of your leg. That's totally fine. You can then sweep your left hand up through the midline and straight up. And then we're gonna look towards that left arm. And if that's good for you, you can pause here. I'm gonna show the other version. You can take your right hand down to the inside of your right leg. So you're actually feeling the back of your arm on your leg. You are not pushing back with your arm, just with your arm. What I want you to do is push that right leg into your arm and then push your right arm into your leg. So you're creating some resistance there. All right, and making sure if you've got to squinch down like this to get here, I want you to come out of it, because I want length on that right side. So our arms are in line with each other. You can sweep that left arm up now. And here we are in this modified triangle pose. Your gaze can go up. If this is terrible for your neck, you can always just have your gaze just straight out in front of you, or even down towards that right foot. Checking in with your left shoulder here, if that arm's up, making sure you're not shrugging that shoulder up, and that your shoulder's not going forward like this. And again, if you don't like this on your shoulder, you can keep your hand here on your hand on your shoulder. And if that still doesn't work for you, you can always keep that left hand right here on your hip. Take one more inhale here. And on your exhale, bring that left hand down if it's up, and then slowly coming back up out of this. And just closing your eyes for a minute to pause. And inhale. Hold that inhale in your belly, just like we did at the beginning of class. And then exhale. Now we're going to open our eyes and move to the left side. Whatever modifications you had on the right side, you can repeat on the left. If your hand is here, that's fine. You inhale your arm up. And if you want to go to the deeper expression of the pose, you want to push that left back of your left arm into that leg and the leg into your arm. Just making sure you're not pushing just with one thing, not just your leg or just your arm. I want the resistance there. So inhale here, inhale your arm up overhead, and you can just take your gaze wherever it's comfortable for your neck. I want you to feel that left arm you're activating that left side as well. And again, wherever you feel comfortable with your shoulder placement here is totally fine. And take one more inhale here. And on your exhale, if your arm is up, lower it down, and then slowly come out of this pose. Go ahead and bring your feet back in line with your knees back in line with your hips, and your feet as well. Sit up real tall, close those eyes. We're going to take a few sighs here. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Then place your hands on your knees. Blink those eyes open. I want you to scoot back just about 2 inches on your chair here. We're going to go into a modified child's pose in our chair, and that's just going to require us to hinge from our hips here and have that belly going towards that upper thigh area. Whenever you get to your comfortable hinge forward, you can just rest your arms down on your legs, drop your head down. And again, this can go as far down as you want it to go, or you may just be very comfortable sitting straight up today, and that's totally fine. If you want to go down deeper, you just let your body drape over your legs, and you can let your arms dangle down by your sides. Letting your head drop forward, releasing your neck, shaking it out, yes and no. And when you're ready, you can walk yourself back up your legs if you folded over them. And we're going to move into our restful position. We're going to be seated in our chair, but I want you to scoot yourself all the way back. So we're going to go all the way back to the chair now. Feel the back of the chair on your back. I still want you to sit up tall, placing your hands in your lap. If you feel comfortable, you want a blanket over you, just because you may get to sit in stillness, you may get a little chilled. Having your feet on the ground, and then I want you to close your eyes. And I do want you to let the chair support you here. So we're not rounding into anything. We still have a straight spine. And we're just going to breathe. And I want you to start to scan your body just like we did at the beginning of class. I want you to feel your feet on the floor. Then I want you to take your attention to your legs. Take a few breaths into that space, relaxing them even more. Your knees may even fall open a little bit. Taking your attention to your belly space. Moving up your spine now to your upper back in between your shoulder blades. Breathing into that space, relaxing that space. Taking your attention to your arms. Relaxing any muscles you're holding on to there. And now taking your hands, flipping them over so your palms are now up, facing the sky. And maybe they're even resting one on top of the other right here in your lap. And then I want you to take your attention to your head, relaxing your scalp, relaxing your forehead and your eyes, relaxing your jaw, letting the tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. And just rest. You're welcome to press pause on the video and sit in Shavasana in this resting pose for 3 to 5 minutes. And when you're ready, you can press unpause and we'll breathe our ending breaths together, or closing breaths, I should say. So when you're ready, you can keep your eyes closed or blink them open and have a soft gaze in front of you. And then I want you to take your hands back to heart center with your thumbs at your heart space. Pushing the chest into your thumbs here. I want you to inhale your arms through your midline, all the way up, hands clasping at the top. Exhale, hands through heart center. Placing your hands at your heart, bowing your head towards your heart in gratitude for this time we've been given, for this space you just created for yourself, for feeling your breath and your movement, and for this body that serves you. Be well and stay well. Namaste. Thank you, friends. I hope you enjoyed that first session. I will welcome any comments. If again, there was anything that you didn't feel comfortable getting into, I'm happy to help you with adjustments there. And I'm aware, I don't know if you could hear the music, but my music just cut off in the middle of it. So I hope that didn't distract anybody. Again, trial run. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you for session 2. Take care.